This is Imogen Clark, and you're listening to No Good Music.
Lost my mind trying to understand yours. Even though I knew what I was in for. I can't remember what I did last week, but I can still hear a burnt CD. Hey, it's just another thing on repeat. I'm a mess, I'm a fraud, give you everything I got. Only see what you want, and what you want is a blonde. So I'll put you in my pocket and I'll carry you around with every fucker who ever let me down. I'm going under, singing I'm over it, fight for the closure. But baby, it don't exist. I love, but I don't let go. Every paper cuts down to the bone. Time doesn't ease my mind, 'cause I'm all hard feelings.
We have a special guest with us today. This is her second time on the podcast. She's a singer-songwriter based in Nashville, originally from Australia, and she has just released a new album, Choking on Fuel. And let's welcome to No Good Music, Imogen Clark.
How are
Hello.
you doing?
Good.
Hello from bright and beautiful New Jersey.
Oh, so gorgeous. You guys can hear me okay? See me okay?
Yeah, we're in a dark room. I tried to
Amazing.
I need more lights in here.
Yeah, you got a bright one behind you there.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. It's unfortunately my I have the most hilarious situation going at the moment where my MacBook has decided that the screens, the cables that connect the screen,
Mhm.
it's made all the colors so weird and inverted.
Wow.
Every time I open it, if I close it slightly, I can see the proper colors, but when it's fully open, so
Yeah.
That's
you
weird.
guys
Oh.
should be seeing me fine, but you
Yeah.
guys look hilarious to me.
All right,
Just-
that's a wave of a hand. You can see that. Yeah.
you look like I can see you perfectly. I
Okay.
can see your outlines, but
Okay.
all the colors are weird. So
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That's fine.
it's
So it
fine.
doesn't matter. Okay.
It doesn't matter. I can hear you. I can see
Mhm.
you mostly. So it's
Okay.
fine. My MacBook
Great.
has just decided
Yeah.
to stop working. So good times for me.
Around this time last year, it was May, we interviewed you. So it's been a year.
That went so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you had just moved to Nashville. Uh,
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yes.
remember that now. Yeah, it was so fresh.
yeah.
So tell us about Nashville. What's happening in Nashville? How is it for you?
It's honestly been incredible. It's been better than I could have even expected it. And I think when you move halfway across the world, it's terrifying and it always will be, kind of no matter what the situation is. But I just couldn't have asked for a better welcome to Nashville. I feel like people have been so friendly. I've made so many new friends. And I'm just so busy. Like, I guess I didn't expect
Oh, wow.
to be able to kind of move to another country and another city and be able to just so quickly get work and slot into this beautiful music community here. And I just feel really lucky and grateful that I've been welcomed into this community. We just finished CMA Fest last week, which was so exciting and fun. I launched my album and also because I also play as a session player, a guitarist and percussionist and backing vocalist for other artists. So
Oh, wow.
it's been
That's
the
awesome.
most hectic week. It's
That's
been
awesome.
insane. I did my own album launch and then also played 6 shows with other artists throughout the
Oh,
week
wow.
and rehearsed them and everything. So I'm just so happy to be here, so happy to be busy and getting to do something I love so much as a job.
I think that there are a lot of places with good music, but I think I said this even in the last interview. As you were going in Nashville, um, my supervisor lived there for a little while. Oh boy, that's probably been 10 to 15 years ago. But he said there's so many good musicians all over, just everywhere you go. Around here, if Rob and I would go out someplace, it's a hit or miss. But there in Nashville, you can go everywhere and everyone, so many great musicians, and you're a part of it now too. That's great. Out playing with other people.
Thank you. I agree with that. That's right. Yeah, the standard is just so high here. And I think it's the
Right.
age-old question of like, do you um do you stay somewhere where you're comfortable, but the standard is not as high? Or do you put yourself amongst the best in the world
Hmm.
and force yourself to grow and evolve as a musician and get better? Because it can be terrifying going out
Hmm.
here and going, oh my gosh, everyone is so good. And am I up to par with these people? But I think the only way to get better is to be amongst people who are better than you. I
Hmm.
always say to people, I want to be the least accomplished musician in the room. Like I want that because it means that I will grow and I will learn and there's no point
Hmm.
resting on your laurels. So
Right. Someone once said, if you're the smartest person in the room, leave.
yeah, yeah, go find a
Because
better room.
that's great. Find a different room. That's great. Good for you. But find a different room so that you can grow. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we want to talk about, the last year, and like you said, there's a lot going on with you, but we wanted to start with when we met you, and it was funny when we interviewed you. I asked you if you were playing in New Jersey, and you said Montclair, and I knew, and I guessed the place you were playing because
Yeah.
there's not many music places. And we got to meet you in October. You opened for Robyn Hitchcock. A lot of people don't know Robyn,
80s alternative people our age know Robyn
but
Hitchcock,
I
but only those people.
but I like the quirky music. I liked all kinds of music, but
Yeah.
like They Might Be Giants and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
Robyn is quirky. We saw that, right?
So I
Absolutely.
knew
He is
Balloon
the
Man.
coolest.
So tell us how you got to tour with Robyn, because I think you had that lined up like soon after you moved to Nashville.
Yeah,
You had this
absolutely.
tour lined up.
Yeah, so Robin is a friend of mine, and I met him through his beautiful wife and fellow singer-songwriter Emma Swift. And Emma Swift is Australian, but also based in Nashville. She's been here much
Okay.
longer than me.
Good to know.
And she is wonderful. And I've always admired her music, and I met her many, many years ago. My first trip to Nashville, actually, I was only 19, and I was trying to get into the five spot to watch some music, but I wasn't allowed because I was under
Hmm.
21. And Emma helped sneak me in, which is how I
Good.
first
Wow.
first made friends with her. But we
Wow.
ended up forming this great relationship, and we wrote a song together that went on my one of my EPs in 2020. And so our relationship grew. And through Emma, of course, I met Robin, and they've just been really wonderful people. Also Nashville based and very inspirational songwriters to me. They work so hard. They have their own record label where they distribute their own music, and I just think they are fantastic examples of artists who are not only extremely talented, but also work really hard from the grassroots level, from the ground up. They do everything themselves. They are just
Hmm.
real, real hard workers. And so when the opportunity came up to open for Robin on his tour dates, and of course, Emma was along on that tour, she was performing with Robin for some songs and working the tour. I just jumped at the opportunity because I think, Robin's music is, like you say, it's so quirky, it's so
Hmm.
interesting. There is no one like him.
No.
And I
Yeah.
found it fascinating. Every single night, the set list would be different. People would send him, song requests on
Hmm.
Instagram beforehand. He'd write the set list backstage before the show. I just think I hope
Wow.
I can be like him and just have a career that is so long and storied and continue touring, like many decades from
Hmm.
now and just be working that hard. So I was very grateful to be on that tour.
Yeah, I didn't know you were friends, so that's good
Hmm.
news to find that out. And we'll have to throw
Yeah.
Robin's name on the ad for this interview, right? And
Hmm.
get the Robin
Yes.
Hitchcock fans listening to this interview. Yeah.
I'm amazed though at people that, that don't do the same set list, that have, I don't know how many songs Robin has, hundreds, and can remember. I mean, I know they're his own songs, but
I
still.
can't remember songs that I wrote last year if I haven't
Hmm.
been
Yeah.
performing them
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
They fall
Yeah.
out of my head. Like the
Yeah.
more you write, the more they fall out of you. Like I need to know well in advance to rehearse them up and make sure they're
Hmm.
good. So I think that is so cool of him to do that.
Yeah.
I love that.
And his songs are really intricate in the lyrically, like
Yeah.
telling a story. They're not
Yeah.
just the same chorus and this,
Hmm.
just
They're
very unique.
wonderful songs,
And for our
very unique
listeners, if you've
songs.
never heard of Robyn Hitchcock, you got to check him out.
Yep.
Absolutely.
One thing that stood out was your a cappella, and I looked this up because I think it was the last song you did. I couldn't remember the name of the song, but
We're
I think
trying
it
to
was
remember it
If
was
Your Heart Ever Breaks. Was that the song?
That's it. Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
the one.
And it not only takes courage to sing a cappella, but also like a great natural voice like you have, because not many people can sing without enhanced, not to diss anybody,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
without the auto tune
No,
and all
thank
that.
you.
And
Thank you so
and
much.
you're in a church, and I think the acoustics in that
Yeah,
church were really great.
yeah. So
You
you
have to
plant.
make the most of
Mhm.
those beautiful
Hmm.
situations. You got to make the most of it. I love doing an unplugged song.
Yeah. Was that spur of the moment though for that, like, because you were in the church, or did you do that every show?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did that for most shows I played last year.
Okay.
I just
Hmm.
found the first time I did it, it was kind of off the cuff, and
Hmm.
it was, probably early last year. And I remember thinking, like, this is such a beautiful, I can't remember where I was, somewhere in Australia, probably before I'd moved to Nashville. And I thought this is such a beautiful pin drop silent audience. I should just do this unplugged because I
Hmm.
love the feeling of like being in the room with
Hmm.
everyone where there's no
Hmm.
like amplification separating you from the crowd. And so I did it and it went down so well that I started doing it at every show. And
Okay.
such a nice way of like ending my set. And I just found
Yeah.
it to
Yeah.
be really special. And so I kept doing it, and I'm so glad you
Hmm.
guys liked that. I feel like
Yeah,
it's a
Yeah.
really special part of the set.
yeah. It brings everyone
Hmm.
closer. It brings the one more step of intimacy. Yeah,
Totally.
yeah.
Now, besides meeting, Matt and myself, what are some memorable things that happened on that tour?
Yeah. Where else? What other cities did you
Good
go
or
to?
bad, but we'd
Yeah,
rather have
yeah.
good, I think. I
Yeah,
mean,
of
who
course.
knows? Yeah.
Honestly, I can't really think of anything bad. It was such a good tour. I mean,
Hmm.
we just I think, one of my favorite things was getting to know Robin and Emma just that little bit better because even though we
Yeah.
already knew each other, that's a very like touring is such a specific thing and you form such specific relationships when you're on the road. Like
Hmm.
you're constantly together, you're in long car rides together,
Hmm.
you're staying in hotels together, you're getting meals together all the time, you're in sound check together, you're backstage together.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like being joined at the hip and you get to know people on such a deeper level. And so we had so many great conversations in the car, so many laughs. After most of the gigs, we would go out and just grab a drink to wind down
Hmm.
together,
Right.
and we'd always find the closest late night food spot
Hmm.
with,
Hmm.
some cocktails. And
Hmm.
Emma and my manager Jeremy are good friends, and they love a martini, so we'd find a place with the best martini. And it was just it was a really, really lovely experience socially and musically,
Hmm.
and so I learned a lot from Robin. And I think that's probably a great memory for me is watching Robin every night. I mean,
Yeah.
he always played a different set. He was always hilarious. His stage banter is so funny.
Hmm.
I just
Yeah.
found it was so educational for me. So,
Yeah.
and I think that's what you get out of being an opener on these tours, as well as meeting all these fans of the headline act and hopefully them becoming your own fans. You also learn a lot from watching the headliner, and I certainly
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, yeah. So touring, you got to see some new cities. We also know that you visited the legendary Red Rocks Amphitheater
Yes.
near Denver. How was that?
Oh, so much fun. I was like blown away by Red Rocks. I can't believe what a natural beauty that area is. And it was my first time in Colorado, and I just really enjoyed getting to see a little bit of Denver, getting to see a little bit of the surrounds and go to some beautiful lookouts. And the just the natural beauty of it all. We just happened to be in Denver shooting a music video for this new album
Okay.
when we saw that at the same time we were going to be in the city, Jason Isbell and the 400 unit were playing at
Hmm.
Red Rocks. And so that's why we ended up going there. And wow, what a show. I mean, I've seen Jason
Yeah.
Isbell a lot of times, but that was probably my favorite.
That is
So
awesome.
you weren't performing, you were there to see someone.
Yeah, we
Okay.
were there to shoot a music video and see some
Hmm.
music. So it was a great trip.
So the music video, was it there because of Denver and the Rocky Mountains, or was it something else?
It was. So we had heard some beautiful things about Denver and how aesthetically beautiful it is. And so we wanted to go there and shoot a music video. And one of the songs from my new record mentioned the art of getting through. It's called. It
Hmm.
mentions that is there purpose in the mountain and is it beauty by design? And because of those lyrics, it really was giving off like a mountainous vibe. And I was also raised on a mountain in Australia. And
Okay.
so I think, all those things came together and we thought this would be a perfect location and it would look different to the rest of my videos. We don't have a video like this before. So that's how that video came to life.
Yeah. Awesome. That is awesome.
So we want to talk about the new album. I was going to ask you about videos. I actually have this in here if you were going to make any videos for any of the songs.
So there we go. There's one
So
of them. The art of
now
Yeah,
that isn't,
absolutely.
and when does that come out? That isn't out yet, right?
So that the Art of Getting Through video came out on the day of the album release
Oh,
on the
okay.
30th. So it's on YouTube, but there are definitely more to come. So that's just the first one.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I wanted to mention the title of your album, Choking on Fuel. We've heard choking on fumes. I've never heard that term before.
So he looked it up.
Now, I don't know if you've looked it up recently, you probably haven't, but with AI now, it said, I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but
There's
yeah,
various
yeah,
different kinds of
it,
definitions for
yeah,
choking on
it's
Wow,
literal,
okay.
it says literal choking, if someone's choking.
food.
Then it tells you about first aid and stuff. And then engine choke, metaphorical in engine terminology, choking
Oh,
on
yep,
fuel,
Hmm.
right?
Too much
yep,
fuel.
Yeah,
You need
yeah,
less air, more fuel.
yeah.
You choke the engine.
yep.
So it
Yep.
goes down what it is, how it works, leaving the choke on, and
But there's a special one at the end, a
and
special
then and then
definition.
you get to the end, and it says Imogen Clark choking on fuel.
Really?
There, yeah, and it says there. This is AI though; it pulls it from different places.
That's
Yeah,
Oh, it's
hilarious.
probably
Oh
back
and
on
it
my
says
stage, isn't
gosh.
it?
says there's
Can
also
you
an
please
album.
send me a photo of that? I
Yeah,
want I
yeah.
want to post that on the internet. That's
Okay.
amazing.
So AI catches everything, and even Imogen.
So it's good to
That's
know that you have the only reference, like not even like it doesn't mention another song or an album.
Or anything. Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're very very unique with the
So
that's
title.
awesome.
I was thinking after Rob presented that, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, too much fuel, not enough air. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's the closest that I can think of as because it's funny, I actually never thought to Google this phrase or look it up at all. It just
Okay.
came to
Yeah,
me because it's a lyric in the song The Art of Getting Through.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
And this is the art of breaking into, this is the art of saying who knew, this is the art of
Hmm.
choking on fuel, this
Yeah.
is the art of getting through. So the choking on fuel line to me, that always meant that, you know, I'm I am a really driven person and I work really hard and I'm very hard on myself and I have high expectations for myself, which can be a blessing and a curse. So
Hmm.
really it's kind of like I feel like that line really means that I have all this fuel, but sometimes like it's so much that it's too much and it actually can like cause me to like go into this anxiety spiral
Hmm.
of not
Yeah.
Yeah.
feeling good
Oh
enough and
yeah.
not working hard enough and pushing myself
Hmm.
over the edge. And so it's kind of that line of like where is enough fuel and where is so much fuel that like you need enough to keep you going, but you don't want so much that it's going to destroy you at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where that line came from
Yeah.
in
It's
my
good to
own
be
brain.
driven, but not
Hmm.
where you're overwhelmed with
Right,
Yeah,
right.
it's good to be
what you.
driven, not good to drive yourself off the
Yeah, and with
road.
you, with you like booking shows and like you said, recording in the studio, and maybe I've
Hmm.
overbooked. Maybe I need a day or two just to watch a movie or
Right. And there's
unwind.
and there's so many things in our life, like having the engine running optimally. Every mechanic knows that you need to have the optimum mix. It is the mix between fuel and air, and in the right quantities, exactly. And so it's a good reminder that we need balance. Yeah, it really is.
Absolutely. And I'm terrible with stuff like that. And I definitely overcommit myself. And I think people look at musicians sometimes and the the old assumption and stereotype is that musicians are these lazy,
Yeah.
alcoholics, and they're all
There's,
kind of sleeping till noon every day and then
mm,
out all night drinking and doing drugs. And obviously for me that is could not be less of the case because those musicians are the people you don't hear about. The people
mm,
you hear about are the ones that are really working hard to make it happen.
yeah.
And so I think it's I'm quite the opposite of that, where sometimes I'm like, I actually need to I'm my own employer and I need to give
Mhm.
myself a day off
Hmm.
today, because I'm having a crazy,
Yeah.
I'm working too hard. I need to take a day off.
And we're not professional musicians. And I think that the average fan or the average listener to music, which we listen to a lot of course, we see the musician as uh, uh, playing music and just having a great time, and
Hmm.
Yeah,
then going in this all these things that we would love to do. We would love to write and record and play music on, and then you're going to be relaxing, and then you're getting interviewed. It looks easy. It's not easy. It just
absolutely.
looks
And I
it looks
so
easy. I want to tell you
understand
that, by
that.
the way. It
Hmm.
looks easy.
Well, that's the thing. And that's kind of our job as performers is to make it look easy. Like we're supposed to look like it's all effortless. And I think
Hmm.
that's a part of it is all those things you mentioned, they are the fun things. Being in the studio, I mean, it's hard work
Right.
being in the studio, but it is
Hmm.
really fun and it's great. Writing songs, performing is amazing. Those things are like 5% of the job. The
Right.
other times it's me at 1 a.m. on my laptop, writing back
Hmm.
to emails that I didn't get
Hmm.
to write
Hmm.
back to all day because I have been rehearsing with another artist to play for their sets, or I've been in a writing session, or I've been, whatever it might be, doing all the admin stuff. And I think we're getting to a place where people are being a little bit more real about that, I think, on social media, just to be like, open about what things look like, but it's definitely
Hmm.
not the glamorous life people think it is. And I'm cool with that because I feel like nothing, like you have to work really hard for something and see uh, you have to see some downward spirals to really appreciate the good stuff when it comes to you. And so
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
fine by me. I'm always
There's a
happy to
song
work
about
hard.
that. I think you have a song about that.
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
you
That's
do.
exactly right.
I think it's almost the same, but in a different way. Before there was streaming music and before you could create music on your computer, because I was in a band and we went in the recording studio a couple of times. It was like a new wave band. And
Cool.
but we would send my bandmate would send our cassettes out to record companies you know
Looking to get lucky.
and now it seems like it's easier. It's not easy to create music
No,
or
it's
good
not that
music,
that's not any easier.
and I don't think it's easy also because I think there's so many bands out there now. There's so much
Yeah.
competition, and we're not talking like people that are on Jimmy Fallon or that are in the top 40. We're talking about the independent art. There's so many independent artists now
Yeah, yeah.
That's
that,
it.
yeah. And you
Well,
still have to be talented. You still have to be good. There's so much talent out there. And
yeah.
that's why sometimes, I listen to a lot of, besides old the music that I loved when I was a kid, but also newer artists. And then you'll find people like yourself that you're like, why aren't you more famous? But do you want to be more famous? If you love what,
Successful,
yeah.
right?
I
Successful.
know
That's a
what you
better word, isn't
mean.
it?
But if you
Yeah,
love what you're
absolutely.
doing right and you can make a living doing and you look so happy, you are the warmest, nicest, I think, person, one of the
Oh,
nicest
thank
in that.
you.
Give you a hug.
Yeah.
We
That's
gave
so
you a hug. I
sweet.
gave you a
Hugs,
hug.
guys.
I mean, we're friends with a band called the Smithereens, and the guys in that band, I always told them when I go see a show, I'm smiling. Like and afterwards when we talk to them, that's what I want.
Sure.
That's
And not
it.
everybody comes out afterwards. It depends on how big you are, but
Hmm.
Cheap Trick, that's my band. I've met them now. They play small theaters, and they're the nicest guys. They're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So,
Yeah.
That's
but
awesome.
anyway,
Both those bands,
yeah,
big rockers. In other words, you're gonna
yeah.
you're gonna rock your socks off the whole night with those guys.
Oh,
Hey, speaking of good musicians on your new album, um,
Yes,
names I don't know, honestly, people that I don't know. Um,
sure.
yeah, let's talk about that.
Well,
Yeah, so
I
this
think I've heard of Tommy Emmanuel,
Okay, great.
and he's
yeah,
Australian, and he's probably, I assume he's one of the bigger artists in Australia.
he is. So Tommy is arguably and in my opinion one of the top best guitarists to ever live. He is one
Hmm.
of the most incredible players that you will ever see, breathtaking acoustic guitar playing, particularly, that's his forte. He grew up in Australia
Hmm.
and lived there for a lot of his adult life before moving to Nashville.
Hmm. Okay.
But he is, world renowned as being, he's a certified guitar player and he's world renowned for being one of the best in the world. So our connection is only that we are both Australian. I have never met
Hmm.
Tommy to this
Okay.
day. But I was thinking about the song If Your Heart Never Breaks that you guys mentioned earlier that I did unplugged at the end of my sets. And I wanted to portray that song in a different way, in a stripped back way, similar to the way I've been playing it on the road. And so we thought, my manager and I were thinking, who could we ask? And we thought, well, let's first see if Jim Lauderdale, the brilliant Jim Lauderdale, who wrote this song with me, would sing backing vocals on it. And Jim
Hmm.
said yes, which was wonderful. And then the second person we thought was, well, let's ask Tommy Emmanuel if he would arrange some acoustic guitar and play some acoustic guitar on this song. And we fully expected him to say no. I mean, he is a busy
Hmm.
man. He is always touring. He's like a real troubadour.
You can
And he didn't know
never
me
hurt to
at all.
ask.
Yeah.
It never hurts to
Yep.
ask because he came back and said yes and played on this song and then also, promoted it, put up posts about it. And he has just been the sweetest, most supportive person. And, I just am so grateful to him for being involved. And this record really became like a uh, a celebration of collaboration. I mean, there are so many guests on this record that I feel so grateful said yes to being involved.
Hmm. Yeah. I think the album's unique because it's 9 songs, so it's not quite as many as last year's album, but it's a reimagining. There are some one album I can recall doing that was Government Mule. They had put out an
Oh,
album, and I don't know if it was at the same time or maybe right after, but then they got other artists to do those same songs. So that was kind of unique.
It'd be
I
like a
love
visual,
that.
it'd be
Yeah.
like a visual artist, like some of the artwork, the wood carving that I've done throughout my whole life. I see something, it's like, wait, I see something else in it, and then I'll do a series of that. So you're reimagining that. It's not just that one piece and it's behind you. It's like, oh yeah, and then you just reimagine. I love that
Hmm.
word.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
reima you
that's
and you keep
absolutely the
going with it.
word. That's
Hmm.
the word we've been using to
Yeah, yeah.
describe it. And I think that what's funny is that when I saw you guys in New Jersey, that was kind of, excuse me, that was kind of when the idea for this record was forming because I'd put out this album, so proud of the record. But the way I ended up touring it, I was often touring solo acoustic,
Yeah.
just the way
Hmm.
that things,
Yeah.
turn
So it was
out sometimes.
stripped
Yeah,
down.
it's
So it was
common.
stripped back. And
Yeah.
because I was playing so many stripped back shows, it made me realize that I would love to have also another version of some of these songs that is more stripped back so people can kind of choose which one
Hmm.
they prefer. And
There
there's
you go.
kind of a different
Yeah.
version for a different occasion. So
Mhm.
that's how the idea for this album was born. And we just took some of these songs and made them more representative of the way I was playing them on the road.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now, one song I think Matt and I both like is Sebastian,
Yeah, I'm singing it in my head right now. Yeah.
and you
Thank
got
you.
this band, Midnight Chicken, and
Fantastic name for a band.
and somehow it reminds me of Little Feat.
Oh,
What I
that's
thought
so
was Dixie
cool.
Yeah,
Chicken.
won't you be my Dixie
Yeah,
chicken? I'll be your Tennessee.
and
Oh, I love that.
they have a song. I looked on the one album, and there's a song called, I wish I had it here. It was Midnight something. And then you go down and there's Dixie Chick, and I'm like, did they get their name
Oh,
from
that's
Little
so
Feat?
From Little
funny.
Feat.
Yeah,
Well, so
yeah.
this band, they're an incredible bluegrass country folk band from Australia. They're from the Newcastle area in New South Wales. And I am a little biased because the mandolin player is my partner. Um,
Okay.
There
but
you go.
they are my new favorite band coming out of Australia. I mean, they are just so much fun. I've been to so many of their gigs, and their live presence is just taking like the folk festival circuit in Australia by storm. And so when it came time to, oh, well, firstly about their name, I believe that was actually, I don't think that had anything to do with it. I think
Okay.
they found a cookbook in a thrift store, and it was called Midnight Chicken, and the whole
Oh,
idea of the cookbook was like late night
oh yeah.
Late
comfort
night
food
cooking.
recipes.
Nice.
And so they stole that and used it as their name, which I thought was hilarious. And
Mhm.
they're all kind of that really funny kind of character. You can just the name totally suits. But the reason behind this version of Sebastian was that I'd been hanging out so much with Midnight Chicken in Australia, and I loved their live presence. And I thought, let's do Sebastian in a way that is so different from the previous album. And
Yeah.
like, let's kind of, it seemed like it had the potential to be this really fun bluegrass song with all these harmonies. And
A hurricane about to land, take the weary world by storm. You were ready for the ride, I wasn't ready for the fall. In a cafe under grapes, brought her up, I bit my lip. Made a playlist for the train, told myself get over it. Conversations like a Janie song. Sometimes right can start out feeling wrong. Imagine what we could be, Sebastian. Just you and me, old fashions. Sip it and see, I can change what you see when you're looking at me, Sebastian. What can I do this magic?
we took a massive punt on it, and it really worked. And I love this version so much, and hoping I get to do it with them when I visit back in Australia.
That would be great. It's light and upbeat. It's light and upbeat, but has that also has that downbeat like Little Feat's Dixie Chicken. It's a little bit faster than the
Yeah,
Dixie
not
Chicken.
That's so
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, a little
cool.
faster
Yeah.
than Dixie Chicken. Yeah.
I love
N-
that.
And we talked last time. I think we talked last time the definition, and so our listeners can go back to the last interview and hear the definition of squinters, which I'll always remember. You play the glockenspiel on that song. Is that what I'm being told here?
I do. It's my Glockenspiel debut on this, so very fun for me. I've never played, but the producer at the time was like, "Why don't you just like all you have to do is like hit these specific notes?" And I practiced a few times. I think there's even a video on social media somewhere of me
Hmm.
getting it right for the first time,
Yeah.
and then like waiting for the to preserve the take at the end, just
Yeah.
going like, yeah, like I did it.
Uh-huh.
It was like
Yeah.
it was like seemed so easy when you're watching it, but as I was doing it, I was like scared, you know.
So it was successful. My favorite songs off the album are Sebastian and Squinters, and then of course I love a couple
Thank you.
others as well, but they're my tops. Yeah.
So do you know about the Tiny Desk concerts?
I
Do you ever see
do, and
them?
I love those.
Would you ever consider doing one?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If they wanted me, I'd so come in there.
So I don't know if they reach out to people or if you could, reach out.
I'm
I
not
don't know.
sure the
Yeah.
entry process.
I have
I,
no idea.
yeah. Now they're very unusual. I just saw one on TikTok last night, and it was like six young people coming in. I swear they look like they were 18 and 19. Come in and they're dressed all flamboyantly, and they're playing strange instruments, and I don't even know
Uh-huh.
who they were. But it's like, whoa, okay,
Yeah.
we're
That's
you can
fun.
do, you can do anything at the Tiny Desk
Hmm.
concert. I just thought that was
That's
unusual.
awesome.
Yeah. Because one thing I think about the your new album is it showcases your voice too.
Thank
Not
you
that
so
the other
much.
album was like cluttered or anything, but because it's toned down.
I
And
totally
yeah.
agree. There's a place
Hmm.
for all of it, and I think, the previous album was in a much more kind of pop rock direction, which I
Hmm.
love, and that's
Hmm.
something that'll always be part of me. But I do love that this new record is very stripped back and intimate, and it does feel like it is really the sound of me like falling back in love with acoustic touring, and having the voice be really the most important thing, and playing my acoustic guitar again, like
Yeah.
getting really back in love with that.
Hmm.
And for our listeners who, I don't know if maybe somebody's listening to this and hasn't heard your music, but just trying to give a sense here. We have a little bit of singer-songwriter, indie pop, a little bit of that pop country, a little taste of country. There's just a lot of things in your music. It's kind of hard to describe
Hmm.
to anybody. You do a Sheryl Crow song, and so there's a little bit of that feel with the instrumentation and the feel. You do have something in common with Sheryl Crow with the straightforward
Oh,
song. Here
thank
it is,
you.
and Sheryl
She
Crow
is
always
one of
does that.
my
Hmm.
biggest heroes. I love her.
That's great. Yeah, and so I'm just trying to give some of our listeners who maybe heard just one song or don't know you, just
Hmm.
and even that touch of newgrass, bluegrass, right? There's a
Yeah,
little
absolutely.
feel of that in there.
For
And
sure.
someone I mentioned when we interviewed you last year, and it was kind of I didn't say it was your homework, but I don't know if you've listened to her, Sheena Easton. And if you
Oh, yeah, I remember you mentioning her, and I have heard her since.
okay, because you kind of reminded me of My Baby Takes the Morning Train,
Um,
that
Oh,
song.
I was
cool.
doing
That's
another song that
awesome.
That's
I
from the
need to get
80s.
more well informed with that.
Yeah, yeah.
decades ago, decades
So
ago.
you're getting ready to play some shows in England. I don't know if it's, I guess, this week or uh
We leave on the 22nd of June, so it's getting
oh,
close.
okay.
Wow. Yes.
And then I
Very
saw
soon.
on July 4th, you're playing the Maverick Festival in East
Yes.
Sussex. And of course, for us in America, July 4th is like a big holiday,
Yeah.
And but I wanted to ask you about the festival itself.
Yeah, I'm interested. What's
Have you
what
ever played that? What other band like is there more than one stage?
this is the
Tell us a little
Maverick
bit.
Festival you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Y- Yeah, so Maverick Festival is so great. I've played there twice before, but not
Okay.
since I think 2018, 2019, or
Hmm.
2017, 2018, somewhere around then. I played 2 years in a row when I was touring the UK. And I loved the festival, and it's such a beautiful vibe. But then, of course, COVID set in, and I
Yeah.
haven't been back since then. And
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
I'm so excited to be on the bill. It's a festival that's held in this beautiful kind of like farm park in Sussex, and it's so gorgeous. There's all these like animals in pens. You can like check out these like really cute little pigs and cows
Wow.
and horses
Uh-huh.
She
and
did say farm park. Farm
Yeah.
park.
Farm.
That's what you did. It's a new
farm park.
phrase
Yeah,
for us.
Yeah.
Putting farm and park together.
Hmm.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
I
Go
actually
ahead, but
haven't
keep
really
going. Yeah.
heard that before either, but I believe it's called Eastern Farm Park is the actual name of the venue. And they just take over with several stages, but it's all like roots and Americana music. And so this album is really perfect for me to be promoting at a festival like that. And it's really been so long since I've been there. I can't wait. My big memory of going there last time was firstly how beautiful the fans were and how supportive and kind and how many albums they bought and how many people came up and said hello throughout the weekend.
Hmm.
But my other memory is that it's dog friendly, so everyone had their
Oh,
dog,
okay.
and it was
Wow.
amazing. I met so many dogs; it was fantastic. So yeah, I can't wait to go back. It's going to be so much fun.
Hmm.
That sounds like a great place for people who love music and animals,
And
both
dogs, exactly.
both farm and domestic.
Hmm.
My two
Come on,
biggest
farm and
loves.
domestic, both.
Yeah.
Good, very good, very good.
Back to fireworks. Like in Australia, do you don't celebrate Fourth of July, but do you have
No.
fireworks or you don't?
No, we
Okay.
don't do anything. We just have a normal, regular day on the
Okay.
4th of July.
Because I was
So,
saying to Matt, I thought other countries had, but I think I'm getting it confused with New Year's.
Yeah, I think
oh,
he's
yeah.
thinking of New Year's
Yeah, we do a
Day.
big New Year's fireworks situation in
Huge in
Sydney. They're
Australia.
obsessed with it in Sydney. And they do massive amounts of fireworks. So
And
that's
the
always really
reason,
fun.
correct me if I'm wrong, but the reason is because of the Prime Meridian line, you're considered the first to experience the new
Oh,
year, something like that. Like it comes
Hmm.
from there all the way around the world. I'm not
that's a
sure
good
about that,
point.
but yes,
That's a really
but they
good
always talk
point.
about here in Sydney. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And that
that's a
that'd
good
be
point
that'd
because
be
we
like
are early.
Yes, yeah, yeah. You were one of the first. Yeah, we're watching you guys
Did
at
it 12 hours, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah. So at
Yeah.
noon,
Yeah.
at 1 p.m., we're like, oh, look, they're celebrating.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, because
Exactly.
your
It's
club was
like,
on.
it's really like Australia
Mhm.
is in the future.
Yeah. So back about England. So you've been to England how many times? Like several times in your life, you're saying?
Yeah, I guess I've been four of this might be my fifth time.
Yeah.
I've lost track at this point, but I'm very grateful because I have a British passport. My dad was born in England, so I am lucky to, have that
Oh,
relationship
yeah.
with the UK. So it's very easy for me to tour there, and I love visiting there, even though I obviously didn't, I grew up in Australia, but I have this feeling of like a connection with the UK just because of my family being from there for many generations. So it's always really lovely, and I've made a lot of great friends in the UK. So I'm really excited to go back.
Does that mean you have dual citizenship?
Yes,
Okay. Because that's rare for us as Americans. It's either
yes,
doesn't happen at all.
Hmm.
Like I don't know anybody, maybe my wife's mother-in-law from Trinidad. Maybe she's Trinidad and US, but
wow.
there's no dual citizenship. It's just, yeah, it's US or leave.
See,
I
that's
don't know if
really
you knew that or
funny.
not.
I did not know that at all,
Oh
and
yeah.
I think I did know that you're not allowed to have more than two. So, like, if I wanted to one day when I hopefully can become a citizen here in America, I'd have to forfeit one of my other, I couldn't be all three.
Yeah, interesting. I had no
Um,
idea. Yeah,
yeah,
you
so
can't
it's
collect them, right?
interesting.
Because there would be people collecting them all, right? You'd have like, oh, I'm in a dozen. I'm good in a
That's
dozen
Hmm.
countries, right? Yeah,
that's
there would be
right.
people collecting. Yeah, sounds right.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but it is great to have that connection to the UK and be able to go there so easily with my British passport is just really helpful.
Yeah.
So we talked about your new album, but do you have time to write? Are you writing new songs? Are you thinking about the
Always.
next? Okay.
Always. She's choking on fuel.
Yeah.
Always choking on fuel. No, I'm just one of these people that like I know there are a lot of artists that tend to like they go into promo mode and they don't write at all until it's
Yeah.
time to start thinking about the next record. But I'm always doing writing sessions. It doesn't matter if I'm about
Hmm.
to release an album or if I've, haven't released anything in a while. I'll just kind of always be doing sessions with
Hmm.
other people or by myself because I just feel like songwriting is like just a part of me and
Oh
my
yeah.
life, and I can't really even turn it off. So it's a
Hmm.
great thing, and so I've written so many songs, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with the next one because even though we've just put a record out, it's my manager and I literally the week after it came out, we're like, all right, well, let's start thinking about the next one, like
Uh-huh.
that's how it
Yeah.
works. And you need a long lead in to make it not feel like a rush. And so
Hmm.
yeah, I'm already thinking about what we're gonna do, how the next one's gonna look,
Hmm.
what sort of feel it's gonna have.
And the
That's
best
awesome.
best songs are ones that just come to you, and like you said, you can't turn it off. If you have an idea, you're probably either, I don't know if you're writing it down or putting it in your phone.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And even if
that's
it's
it.
pieces, I would think
Yeah.
of lyrics, and then
And it's a real gift because Rob plays guitar, I play drums, and we've both been in a band or two. But the writing, we've each written a song or two, but it's like it's not great. It's
yeah,
work. It's
yeah.
it's so hard, it's not a gift. I'm not going to speak for him, but it's not a
Hmm.
gift that I have. It's something I tried my hand at, and it's just
Oh,
it's fascinating because so you have a gift and the creativity. We know about creativity because when it comes. I tell my wife all the time, I will do that when I'm inspired. I've been saying that a lot the
Hmm.
last 5 years. Like,
yeah,
I can't start on something, but when I get inspired, even if it's to do some landscaping, right? It's
that's
like
it.
it can't be work. And then
Yeah.
I
Yes.
will do it sometimes spontaneously because I get inspired and I go out and I work for 3 hours. So, inspiration, right? It's
Hmm.
about being inspired.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah, it's true. It's true. And sometimes it's inspiration and sometimes it's perspiration, as they say. It's like that
Yeah.
That's
that
right.
mixture of kind of pushing through and having the bolt of lightning strike.
Yeah.
And it's having the time, but if you're a working musician like yourself, But for us, working I work from home,
Hmm.
but I started putting some music together, but it is time consuming
Oh,
too if you're the only one,
Yeah.
yeah,
doing
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge.
yeah.
So we have one more question, and it's what we call our mystery question.
Oh,
Yes.
cool.
And so I have, we're not going to ask all 10. We're going to ask one question,
He's got 10 questions.
so you pick a number from 1 to 10, and then I'll ask you. There are some
Ooh.
music and I think there's some non-music.
Okay, I'm gonna pick 6.
Oh my God.
Where's the bell?
Our last two, our last two people we interviewed picked six.
And
It's
No
like,
right.
way.
And we said, and I said, and we said, she's going to pick six. Yeah. She's not
That's
going to pick
really
four.
weird.
Nobody says, oh, how about
yeah.
four?
So we'll see how
That's
long we
really
can keep this
funny.
going with
Yeah.
number six.
Now, everybody knows
Wow.
everybody thinks seven's a magic number, but you know that six is everywhere in nature. All snowflakes, all crystals, the honeycomb,
Really?
everything. Yes, six is the magical number. Yes, and if you study theology, you can see how it is opposed to a lot of things in religion, which are seven. But I won't get into that right now. But it's something for you to think about.
I love
Write a
that.
song about six versus seven or the magic six.
That's cool.
You just chose it, and two other people before you did.
How
It's insane.
strange.
That's
Okay.
insane.
So the
That's weird.
question is, what is the one person in your life right now you could go on a long road trip with? And we were talking about that. You were
Ooh.
talking about Robin and his wife and being in the car,
Hmm.
but maybe there's another person
Well,
that,
she did mention
yeah.
somebody else, so maybe that's the person.
Yeah, well, I feel like that's a good question. I feel like it's really like I will say this might be like too obvious an answer, but my manager Jeremy, like
Okay.
he and I are like we're friends as well as him being my manager. Like he's one of my best mates,
Hmm.
and we just like get along so well, and we're on
Yeah.
this team together, and we have been for so long. So we can sit in comfortable silence
Hmm.
together. We can
Hmm.
be like so honest with each other about anything. We can
Okay.
be embarrassed about stuff together. We can laugh about things. So I feel like he is like my road trip. He would be the best road trip partner for me
Okay.
because we already know each other so well, and we've already been on several long road
Well,
trips
that's
together
right. You've
as
already
well.
been there. I think there's only a few people. I think we all only have a few people that we can be
Yeah,
on the road trip
Matt,
with.
we've done road trip.
Yeah,
But Matt, I've known since he was 10.
yeah, yeah. We've
So
known each
for
Oh,
other.
that's so cool.
40, what was it, 49
I
years?
don't know. We did the Thirst tour back in '88. We drove from Jersey down to Florida and
Yeah.
back. Salvador Dali Museum when Salvador Dali was still alive. Um,
Oh,
Yeah.
and
wow.
yeah, that was the
That's so
Thirst tour.
St.
cool.
That was
Petersburg.
in a heat wave. But
Yeah.
hey, maybe you've got a new song title right there and a theme. Comfortable Silence. I like
That's
that.
cool.
You,
I
I'm
do
not
like
taking
that
credit. You
actually.
said it. You
Yeah.
said
I
Yeah.
like that. You'll get 10%.
I
There you
will
go.
not quote you on that. But comfortable silence. Yeah, I like that.
I do
Yeah.
like that. I think
Yeah,
that's
I've heard.
something you only get with special people.
Yeah, yeah, very much so.
So our listeners, they can find you on Facebook, Instagram, and be sure to visit your website at imogenclarkmusic.com.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Is there anything else or anything we
Hey,
missed?
hey, can you
No,
hear
that sounds
can you
great.
hear the bell? When I hit the bell, can you hear that?
Yeah, it's
No.
not picking up certain sounds.
Wow, there's frequencies like the
Yeah.
clapping. We had the clapping and and the bell, it doesn't even come out.
Oh,
Yeah.
Now
that's
here I am
really
all
weird.
excited. Let me try this.
When
Can
you
you
said
see
you were
it?
ringing the bell, oh,
Can you see
wow.
it?
What? That is so weird.
Can
You
you hear
can't
it
hear?
now?
Yeah, I can't hear it.
Huh. That's weird.
That's
It's
wild.
Yeah.
loud in my ears. Are
Oh
you
my
serious?
We had
gosh.
that
It must
problem.
like cut off the top end.
It's really loud ringing. Like at the desk, right? The old
Yeah, yeah,
hotels.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah, when
sounds.
you want someone to come to the desk,
Yeah,
that's
stop
so
doing that. You give me
bizarre.
a headache. So thank you. And
Thank you guys for having
I
me.
know we'll talk to you again. I know we
Yeah,
will.
I would
And
love that. And hopefully I'll
hopefully
get
we'll
back to New
come see you
Jersey.
again, you know.
Yeah, guys, thank
Yeah.
you so much. I really
Okay.
appreciate your support.
Best
Thank you.
best wishes to
Thanks,
you.
guys. Thank you
Yeah.
Have
so
a
much.
great
I'll talk to you
rest of the
again
day.
soon. Thank you.
Okay.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Here I am in the drive-through with a shake and a loose screw. Gotta make some decisions. A side of fries with my provisions. Now I'm stuck in the suburbs. I guess we should've used rubbers. I'm trying not to feel smothered, but I can feel you kick. Got a soul full of splinters, driving home with the squinters. All the summers and winters in disguise. I like to tell myself lies. When I was a boy.
You've been listening to No Good Music. Today's interview was produced and edited by Rob J. Lilly and recorded via Zoom at the Did You Say
7
Studios in Washington, New Jersey. You can find No Good Music on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Pandora, and almost anywhere you listen to podcasts. Intro and exit music by the band 99%. The song's All Hard Feelings. Sebastian and Squinters use with permission from Imogen Clark.